All righty. I am waiting for a couple people to come on. Oh, good. All right. Hello, everybody. It's Michelle, your frontline patriot. And I am here with Unredacted Truth, but it is a different vent than you guys know, I normally talk about politics. And today I actually am going to give you an update. It has been almost a year since I have been strictly carnivore. And I wanted to let you know the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, and is it actually worth it to consider at least testing out carnivore? So I am going to go ahead and jump in, but I do want to have your feedback. So let me managing moderation. Awesome. Hey, Kim. Hey, Arthur. So this is awesome. I do want to be able to see your questions and answer your questions. Hey, Debbie. I'm going to see if I can make this part bigger though, because it's very hard for me to see what you guys write. Anyway, I can't. I'm not real familiar with YouTube because I normally post, well, I used to do videos and then post them. And unfortunately, YouTube shut down my main channel. So here we are. I'm talking about carnivore today. Those of you who do not know, almost exactly a year ago, actually in October a year ago, I started seeing one or two followers who were talking about carnivore, going carnivore for different health reasons, for weight loss, for all kinds of things. And people they were talking about going carnivore. So those of you who have followed me, especially on this carnivore journey, what you know is I literally, being a researcher and just demanding truth in every area of my life, I set out to do the research so that, and I have to be right up front here, I set out to prove that carnivore can't possibly be healthy. Well, after about 2.5 months, so that was actually September of 2023. So after about 2.5 months, I was like interviewing people. I was hearing these absolutely incredible stories and people who were reversing diabetes. That was so prevalent. I couldn't believe it. And then people who reversed cancer, people who healed their different health issues that they had, a lot of dietary issues that they had, a lot of skin issues that they had, a lot of joint issues that they had. And I just literally all around the world was interviewing people who had these miraculous transitions by simply going carnivore. So let me start, because some of you may not know exactly what is carnivore. So strict carnivore, and I'm sure some people would, there are a few people out there who would probably say, oh my gosh, she's not carnivore, because I do eat eggs and I do eat some dairy. I do eat, cheese, which is some dairy, and I do eat other meats besides beef. So there is a carnivore segment where they call it the lion's diet, and it's for people who really have deadly health issues. Then I would probably recommend that for them. But anyway, it's just eating red meat, salt, water. That's it. For me, that would never work. And for Bill, it wouldn't have worked. We like our food way too much. So anyway, after listening to all these people, one night, Bill and I were out to dinner with Billy and Ashley. You guys know my son and daughter-in-law, future daughter-in-law. We were out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant, one of our favorite Mexican restaurants in San Diego. And we were enjoying some really good taquitos and nachos and burritos and even margaritas. And all of a sudden, Bill says, I hope you're enjoying your meal. And I said, I am. You know, we eat a lot of Mexican food. We did. Not since I've been in Nashville, but in San Diego, we've always eaten a lot of Mexican food. I love it. And I'm just like, oh, but this is like the creme de la creme, one of our favorite restaurants. So anyway, he said, well, that's good because we are going carnivore tomorrow morning. So what I want to share with you all is I had no idea that Bill had any intention whatsoever of going carnivore because he's a cook. He was a professional chef for many, many years, and he's an incredible cook. And he never mentioned that he was even really listening to me as I droned on about all these amazing benefits and all these things. So anyway, as he was the spiritual leader in our family, sorry guys, the sun is coming in and I need to tip the shades. If you will hold on, sorry about this, but it's been cloudy all day and all of a sudden the sun's coming out. Thank you, Lord. I love the sun. I just don't want it in the corner of my eye. So just hold on for a second and I am going to change that. It's going to get real bright for a minute. Wow. It's totally cloudy. It's just sunny, literally like right over my house and neighborhood. Bizarre. I don't know how that happened. Ha. All right, I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay, there's still sun coming through, but it's not right in the corner of my eye. So anyway, I didn't expect Bill to go carnivore with me, and we began the next morning. So what I found in 2.5 months of research, I've done a YouTube, look that one up. I will actually link it in the comments, but I did a 3.5 hour. Some of you, I know Debbie, you were there. Kim, I think you were there. I literally did a 3.5 hour, very, very intense, very comprehensive of YouTube of what I discovered while researching the carnivore diet. And I was literally blown away. I think Bill was even more surprised than I, but I literally headed into this thing thinking it's dangerous and I need to help people so they don't do this crazy new fad diet anyway. And in that 3.5 hour video, I explained that, yes, I believe God created fruits and vegetables for us to eat. However, they were in a different form then. And beyond that, besides the fact that the ground has lost all vitamins and minerals, it's so overtaxed. And remember, God tells us everything we need in the Bible. You need to let your farmland go fallow every 7 years because it replenishes the nutrients. On top of the fact that there's no nutrients in the soil anymore, we have chemtrails just pouring down. This is what I'm hearing from our government websites anyway, that they're trying to change the weather. So those toxins, those heavy metals are damaging the ground that is there, lacking nutrients. And now it has all these toxic chemicals. And then just the fact that everything's genetically modified these days. It's crazy, but everything's genetically modified. In the United States especially, and I know some of you are watching from around the world and will be, there are a few countries, I'm sorry, Italy is one of my favorite, where they literally, most countries actually in Europe and around the world, they outlaw many of the things that Americans eat and drink every single day. A lot of examples, but that's not what this is about. What I wanted to say is just that I understand that God did create vegetables and fruits and things for our consumption. However, they're pretty darn toxic now. And that's one of the things, I mean, I've known that for a long time. It's like, what do you eat? You got to eat something. But anyway, I was pretty convinced, obviously. So Bill and I started carnivore almost a year ago this month. So it was actually into January, but I had finished my research by Christmas last year. And we were both convinced already. So anyway, I want to get into you guys can find out everything. It is very comprehensive. If you want to know what my thoughts were, what I found, what I learned in interviews with actual people who had been doing this for more than a month or two, then please check out my other video, which I will link below. It's 3.5 hours. I actually did end up splitting it into two shorter videos because I get that's a lot. But YouTube, you can just stop it and come back later and watch the rest. You may not want to watch it all at once, although I have met many people who have said they watched the whole thing in one sitting because it was so fascinating. And those of you who know me from Facebook, from my Unredacted Truth channel on Facebook or Telegram or Rumble or X, or not YouTube because I can't share those things here, you already know kind of about me that I have this passion for truth, and I want to make sure when I'm sharing something that it isn't some off thing that just happens occasionally. So I did very deep research, and I highly recommend that other video if you're new to carnivore. Now, I want to talk about what happened. So Bill and I, and for those of you who don't know, because I realize a lot of you are here on YouTube, you don't know me from Facebook or my other channels. And so you don't know, my husband passed away unexpectedly 1 month and 4 days ago. And very difficult because we had just moved, literally just moved from our native Southern California to Nashville, Tennessee. And so I'm here alone in this house, just lost my husband. And you all, my viewers, literally have been amazing strength for me. Many widows out there, and widowers who have lost their spouse and have really been helpful to me. So anyway, thank you for that. But I wanted to kind of give you guys that, because you're going to wonder why I'm saying, well, Bill and I are doing carnivore together, and then now I'm doing carnivore. He's no longer doing it. He is dancing with Jesus in heaven. And that's really hard for me, especially this Christmas week. We're less than a week away from Christmas, so it's extra hard for me. But this isn't about, I will say that I don't want to give you the end of the story, but I do believe that what we eat definitely enters into our mental state. And that's been proved scientifically. As most of you know, I do love neuroscience. I've studied it since college, which has been a long, long time. And I'm sorry, guys, my phone is blowing up. It's literally like, I literally have like 50 texts just since I started here. So if one of you is one of those 50, don't worry, I will get back to you. I just need to do this first. So anyway, Bill started with me. We had already been together 44 years, and Bill snored almost every night in the 44 years we were together. Anyone who knows me knows that I am such a light sleeper. I say if a car door shuts 3 blocks away, it'll wake me up. I have a hard time falling asleep. I have a hard time staying asleep. Everything wakes me up, and I wake up really early in the morning, no matter what time I go to bed. So that said, I'm not a good sleeper, but Bill's snoring never helped with that. 3 days into carnivore, he completely quit snoring, and he never snored again to the day he died, literally. I know this is hard because I still haven't really faced the fact that he's gone, so whatever. Anyway, he quit snoring. So women, if your husband snores, or men, if your wife snores, put him on carnivore. Snoring will stop immediately. So the first few days were a little bit hard as far as energy. We felt like we didn't really have enough energy. So I contacted a few people whom I had interviewed who had amazing results and said, okay, how long does this last? And they said, basically, it lasts like anywhere from 4 days to a month. You might be low in energy. But then I had one person who's actually maybe a name you know if you know carnivore at all. And he said, Michelle, how much fat are you eating? And I'm like, well, I don't know. We're having bacon and eggs every day. And he's like how many pieces of bacon? And I'm like, I don't know. I have like two, maybe 2.5 pieces of bacon, and Bill probably has 4 pieces of bacon. And he said, that is not enough fat. You need tons and tons of fat. You need to add lots of bacon fat and butter to your eggs that you're making. And then you need to change from filet mignon, which was my favorite steak, that's what we started eating, to ribeyes because they have lots of fat. And I'm like, beef fat? I don't know. I only like filet mignon and hamburger. I don't like any other red meat. I'm literally not a red meat girl, even though Bill is, and Billy and Aubrey are both, and the boys. Everybody's red meat in our family, but I have never been. So then Bill cooked us some ribeyes. And those of you who know, Bill was a professional cook forever. He would grill them on the grill, these ribeyes, and then he would bring them inside when they were almost done and sear them in about a half-inch pad of butter. He would sear these ribeyes. It was the best steak I had ever had in my entire life. I ate every bit of steak. This was just one night after about 4 days of being carnivore. Well, that turned us around from filet mignon lovers to ribeye lovers. Definitely, I would say hands down. I way love ribeye better than filet mignon any day of the week, any month of the year. I love ribeye. So anyway, we started eating ribeye all the time. And I do want to say, it kind of surprised me coming to Nashville. Ribeyes are super expensive compared to Southern California, which is kind of funny because everything's more expensive in California, right, guys? Especially those of you in SoCal. It's like everything's more expensive there. And I come here thinking there's a whole lot more beef in the Midwest, cattle farms. But I'm telling you, here to buy a ribeye, I have to pay almost $5 a pound more than we did in San Diego. Beach, coastal area, San Diego, one of the most expensive places to live in the country. And our ribeyes were about $5 less per pound. And it was really good ribeye. Whereas here, I still haven't had really good ribeye here. Anyway, the reason I tell you that is we've been so brainwashed, especially us women, to believe that we can't eat fat. Oh my gosh, fat. And I've known that we need fat. I know that fat causes cholesterol, which our brain thrives on. That whole cholesterol lie, don't believe it. And if you're on cholesterol medication, please probably ease off it. Find a good doctor, not the one who prescribed it, but another natural doctor who looks at the entire body, who actually knows something about cholesterol. The reason so many people have dementia is because they're on a low fat diet and cholesterol medications, and your brain is dying for cholesterol. Anyway, that's another story for another day. I do want to preface all this by saying I'm not a doctor, thank God. But I have done a whole lot of research into the brain, into the body, physiology, neuroscience, two of my favorite things. Biology. I love the sciences. I'm a weird person that way. I love truth. I love the fact that it is so easy to get real truth these days. You do have to learn how to research, how to separate the lies from the truth. And that's actually, I could do a whole live on that one day if you guys are interested. So anyway, hey guys, it is so great to see you. Anita, Kim, Arthur, Debbie, Jocelyn, Lori, Jobia. Is it Jobia? I love that. Jeff, Karen. Sorry, I need to go down. John, Janice, great to see you all. All right. So back to, we started adding more fat into our diet. We started cooking in bacon fat. We started adding butter, real butter. We did buy Kerrygold butter, and actually now Costco has a real butter that's not all pasteurized and all that, like the fake stuff. And they have their own brand, which is actually quite a bit less expensive than Kerrygold. So either of the, I mean, doesn't matter. Get some good butter, use tons of it. But bottom line, and for those of you who are thinking about testing out carnivore, it's all animal-based products. So I do eat, as I've said, chicken, pork, fish, salmon is one of my favorites. Although the majority of my diet is red meat, bacon, eggs, and red meat. I do put whole whipping cream in my coffee, in my tea. And there's a little bit of warning with that. Many people have an issue with dairy and you don't even know it because your whole diet is so bad that you don't realize that it's the dairy that's messing up your diet. So I do want to say that if you have joint issues, this is just driving me crazy. If you have joint issues, it's all the little light on me. So, you need to test it by completely deleting dairy for a month to see how you respond. Joint, just inflammation. So different issues that you have. So if carnivore doesn't work at first, and actually, I would love to share we did a carnivore club. Many of you here were in it. And what I loved about that is I actually took you through how to go through adding carnivore, becoming carnivore, because it's very hard for most people. Bill and I jumped right into it. We literally we had a big Mexican meal, and then the next morning it was like coffee, water. I get that coffee. I drink decaf. Bill always drank regular caffeine, regular coffee. But other than decaf and coffee, all we had were animal products starting the very first day. And we had been intermittent fasting we naturally have always intermittent fasted because we don't have an appetite in the morning. But I will tell you, when we first started going carnivore, and I found out that we weren't eating enough fat, then I found out that we weren't eating enough, period. Now, some of you are going to be thrilled about that. I get that Bill and I are in the unusual group where we've never been big eaters. Well, he was a bigger eater when he was younger, but especially as he got older. And I've never been a big eater. I have no appetite when I get up in the morning, Bill either. And then we might have lunch, but maybe split a sandwich or something, or a small salad with some salmon on it or whatever. And then we would have whatever kind of meat at night with salad and some kind of starch like baked potato or rice or something like that. So basically we cut all that out and we just went to bacon and egg, beef, butter, bacon and eggs were the majority, still are the majority of my diet. Beef, butter, bacon and eggs. It's really easy to remember. BBBE, beef, butter, bacon and eggs. And that is, I think, the best way to start carnivore. That's my personality. That was Bill's personality, is jump in with 2 feet. Let's commit. And we committed to 1 month. You guys remember that? We committed to 1 month. I want to see your comments, guys, and I am going to be reading them as soon as I can figure out how to make them bigger. Oh my gosh, I'm able to do it. Awesome, Joby. So great for you to be here. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Denise. Yes, cholesterol meds are so dangerous. And unfortunately, so many people don't understand that. Oh, man. Sorry, I'm trying to slide this around. This is very odd. It doesn't work at all like Facebook, but I want to be able to read your comments. So I've got to slide it to the side. All right. Hey, from Colorado. Hey, Kim. I love you. So anyway, oh, and Debbie, you use Kerrygold. Yeah, Kerrygold's amazing. And have you tried the new Costco one? It's actually really, it's exact. So one thing I know, remember we had the very first Costco, which was Price Club in San Diego, California, was the first one ever. We actually knew the two guys who started it were friends of ours. We were the 107th customer for Price, which then became Price Costco and now is just Costco. Anyway, all their brands, their name brands, are actually name brands that white label under their own, under the Costco brand. So you can usually, and knowing that, that'll probably change your life. Knowing that, you will see that like the new Kirkland butter, which now it's Kirkland. So the new Kirkland natural butter is actually Kerrygold. It's just white labeled under the Costco brand. So that'll save you a lot of money because Costco does use very high-end brands. Barbara, great to see you. I love it. Kim, I've done intermittent fasting for a long time. Then I found out it was bad. So this is interesting. I know some people don't believe in intermittent fasting. I absolutely believe in it. And I'll tell you why in a minute. I can't read it. This is so bizarre. There it is. See, it's when I make it bigger, it cuts it off. Bad for me. Yeah. And Kim, I know you have certain health issues. I still don't believe it's bad for you. And I'll tell you why. The way that the body works, again, I'm not a doctor, so check it out with someone who really knows the human body. Fasting, in a fasting state, you do more healing than ever. Your body heals in a fasting state. And we are so now, if you're drinking toxic water filled with fluoride and other anti-nutrients when you're fasting, yeah, that could be dangerous. But if you're drinking pure water, and I hate to even say, in the old days, we could get spring water that actually had minerals that came through the rock and everything was clean and pure. And you could taste the difference. Actually, this is smart water, but Carlsbad water that we used to get in Carlsbad, where we've lived forever, it used to be from a deep, 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 deep spring in the earth that was totally clean. You could tell when you drank it, you were fully thirst quenched, which I noticed that I'll drink bottles and bottles of water and I'm still thirsty. That's because it can't get into your cells because it's toxic. And there are no minerals, all those things that you need in the water. You have to strip them out in order to get rid of the chlorine and fluorine and fluoride and chloride and all those toxic things in it. So anyway, that's really sad. But anyway, do check into that, Kim, because I know that there is a whole fad out there that fasting is bad, and it may be for your particular issue. So again, I'm not an expert on you. However, fasting, when you fast and your body is not busy digesting all those, so I'll just tell you how I taught the kids from the time they were 5 or 6 years old. All those good guys are running to support the damage, and nothing in your body works better. Your mitochondria actually proliferates during fasting. And there's just so many lies out there. Obviously, I mean, and I will say just right off the bat, everybody needs iodine. Everybody needs certain vitamins and minerals. You do get, and this is something that surprised me when I did my research. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Please send up the little hearts and likes and things because I can't get those on Facebook. I don't know why. I think they have them if I go on my phone, but if I'm on my laptop, I can't get them. So yeah. Barbara says, I miss Carlsbad water. Me too. I mean, Bill and I used to go get it in the 5-gallon jugs every week. We drank a ton of it. And even though we had whole house water in our home, so we didn't have to shower with all the corrupt minerals, uh, toxins, I should say, we were getting the minerals from our water. All this talk about water. I finally brought water in here, you guys, so I shouldn't get the hiccups. Anyway, I want to keep moving here. So what I would do if I were you who haven't done it yet, or maybe you did my 30-day challenge and you fell back off the wagon, please think about how great you felt after 30 days and consider it again. Again, I'm giving you hints as to what's the answer to this question. Is it worth it? So what I would do is commit to a month. That's what Bill and I did. And it was very hard because our first week on Carnivore, my brother invited us to his beautiful resort out in Borrego Springs. You guys in SoCal know it well. It's a beautiful, beautiful area in the desert. They live on a golf course in Borrego Springs with this beautiful Spanish house with a casita. So Bill and I had our own little villa and pool and beautiful weather. Anyway, this all happened right after we went carnivore. And thankfully, the first night, we didn't know how to tell them because my family already kind of thinks I'm nuts. And we didn't know how to tell them. So we're kind of like, well, we'll just kind of hope they don't notice. Thankfully, the first night they had salmon, and they had fresh salmon, these huge, they had like 4 big, I mean, there was more than enough salmon. So it was easy to just say, hey, the salmon's so good, I'm not even going to bother with the salad. I just want more salmon. There was so much. But then they brought out Marie Callender's cheesecake. Those of you who have known me for any length of time know I only love 2 desserts. One is very strong espresso gelato, and the other is Marie Callender's cheesecake, plain cheesecake with fresh lemon squeezed on it. Well, none of that is carnivore. So we were like, okay, how are we going to tell them? And we did, and they still think we're weird. But now we just saw them. Well, I just saw them at Bill's memorial, and they're kind of surprised that I'm still fully strict carnivore a year later. And probably will be for a while. I will tell you, I'm going to share some other things. So anyway, it turns out Bill and I weren't eating enough fat first, so we added in more fat. Then it turns out we weren't eating enough, period. So we both lost weight. But again, you guys know us. Neither one of us really needed to lose much. I mean, I had a few COVID pounds that I didn't like because I've always been super active. Anyone who's known me since pre-COVID, I've always been, it's like up in the morning, I walk before dawn, I watch the sunrise. Well, Bill and I both together. We lived in San Diego, so it's always warm enough to go for a walk in the morning when you get up, always warm enough to go walk at sunset, watch the sunset, walk on the beach regularly. I did martial arts until right into 2020 when it shut down. I've always been very, very, both of us just big athletes. We've always been athletes. So we didn't have a lot of weight to lose, but we did lose weight. And then as we started adding fat and adding protein, we lost more weight. And I actually had someone say to me the other day, don't lose any more weight. And actually, I'm where I've pretty much been since high school. I mean, except for that time during COVID, I never gain or lose. I mean, I'm always within a 4-pound range. And I'm there now, so I'm not worried about it. I may look thin to you if you just met me after COVID started, but I'm not. I'm myself. I feel like myself. All my clothes still fit. So anyway, so we started adding more. So we started eating like brunch. So maybe around 11, we would eat major bacon and eggs or That's that kind of was our brunch diet, is bacon and eggs. And then we'd add some things like maybe a little bit of salami. I mean, yeah, we enjoy carnivore. We do salami. I mean, it's not going to be the main part of our diet, but especially if it's Italian salami made in Italy, there's not going to be toxins in it, so it's not going to hurt you. And actually, I feel the same way about zero flour, which is in Italy. They don't allow GMO flour, so their wheat is not GMO. And you will notice that you don't get fat from bread if it's real wheat. You get fat from GMO wheat. You get fat from GMO corn. You get fat and sick from GMO grains. And actually, pretty much everything in the United States is GMO right now. So, oh, okay. Let me see. Barbara, I wasn't hungry, so I wasn't eating enough. Oh, Kim. Okay, yeah, exactly. So so I'm going to go back to Kim. Thank you, Kim. I love this. This is perfect. So Kim was saying, yeah, the reason, if you guys know Kim, she's totally fit, on the thin side of fit. And what she's saying is, someone asked, well, why was it bad for you? And that's what I wondered, because fasting is actually very, very good for your body. It's good for your brain. It's good for every organ. However, then you have to eat more. I'm speaking to the choir here. You have to eat more when you do eat. So that's what happened with Bill and me, is we can't. I mean, I see these women in carnivore. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they literally eat like 6 eggs and 4 ounces of cheese and 3 or 4 hamburgers for lunch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I would be huge. But what I've learned now is I wouldn't be huge, but I'd be throwing up. I can't eat that kind of food. I mean, to me, literally max, I could eat 3 eggs if I had nothing with it. I can eat comfortably, I can eat 2 eggs and 2 pieces of bacon. That for me is pushing it. That is pushing it. And that's if I only have 1 or 2 meals a day. So you've heard of OMAD, 1 meal a day, OMAD. A lot of people say they go OMAD. I think that's great because I know my body heals when it's fasting. I pretty much only eat 1 meal a day. Well, all disclosure, Bill's gone. He was my cook. So I'm very good at making bacon and eggs. I actually have grilled a couple ribeyes on the grill. A couple of you who might be watching have tasted my cooking, and it actually came out pretty well. I have grilled some ribs for a minute on the grill, and it didn't work out so well. So I learned to do ribs in the oven. They came out so well that my kids and my brother contacted me and said they were having ribs within a couple days because they were still drooling over the picture of mine. And I'll be happy to post them probably on my Facebook channel so you can see my beautiful ribs. I guess I can post. No, you can't post pictures in the comments on YouTube, so I won't be able to do that. But I'll post it on my Facebook channel, Michelle Moore Winder. Please check me out on Facebook. I bring all kinds of truth that you have to know to get by in this crazy world. So if you don't watch me over there, please do. And please subscribe here. If you're enjoying this at all, please hit the subscribe button. I really am convinced that I want to grow my YouTube channel again. Was so mad at YouTube for deleting me completely. All my business, literally 4 years worth of business videos that they shut down because they didn't like me quoting the CDC. It wasn't even my idea. It was quoting the CDC and they didn't like it. So they shut me down, shut down everything. Anyway, so if you can eat 3 meals a day, and I highly suggest it for those of you who are more like me, where you have a hard time eating enough food, just try to add in an extra meal. Bill and I tried, we just couldn't do it. So we continued to lose weight. And, I'm like, I'm a grandma. I have 2 grandbabies. I don't care if I'm a little, I don't want to be heavy, but I don't care if I'm a little heavier than I was in high school and college and as a pro racquetball player and as a martial artist. And I'm not that vain where I care if I'm a little heavier, but I don't want to be heavy. I mean, I want to feel like me. And bottom line is you have more energy and more, it's the health. Weight is just a symptom of health. Okay. Can I just say it that way? And I may do a thing on weight if you guys want me to. Most of you know I was a personal trainer for years. I taught martial arts and self-defense for many, many years. COVID kind of put an end to a lot of that. And then I got into this whole political thing, which I've never been involved in. Obviously, I've always done my due diligence so that I could vote with a clear conscience and feeling like that's what God was calling me to do. But I've never been political, so to speak, until 2020, because I realized I want to protect people. And too many people didn't know the truth that I knew going into COVID. And so I wanted to share it. And yeah, I lost friends over it because they didn't want to hear the truth still. So anyway, that left. I want to move fast forward. So at the end of 1 month of Carnivore, all of a sudden, everything was going well for both Bill and me. We both just had more energy. Now, what I want you to understand is, and this is where I wanted to give it an entire year because Bill and I did not have major health issues. We weren't considered overweight, even though both of us had some things that we wanted to get rid of that we had found. We had found some things during COVID that we wanted to get rid of, didn't want to be part of our normal life. So there were a few things like that, and things like snoring. I didn't know how does a diet stop you from snoring? I still don't know why. If you know, please let me know. You major carnivores out there, please let me know why in the world would changing your diet to animal-based products only stop snoring? I don't know. I can't even, I haven't had time to really go there and research it, but I'd love to know. That shocked me. But the other things, we already had pretty good energy. We already had pretty good weight. We already had pretty good skin and hair and nails, and we didn't have major things. However, so that was especially, Bill, for me, I do have hypothyroid. Again, the sad American diet destroyed my thyroid, or it slowed my thyroid. Then the sad American medical system destroyed my thyroid. But I will tell you, after a year, and I haven't had it tested in 3.5 months, but after 34 years on thyroid medication, which I switched to the natural, don't do the toxic medical association, Harvard, big pharma trained doctors medication. Again, I'm not a doctor. Check with your natural doctor who understands the human body. Get off that. Levothyroxine, all those, forget it. They're destroying your thyroid. They're making your thyroid say, hey, I don't need to work because I have this medication that's doing it. It destroys your thyroid. I knew that, but I didn't know how to get around it because I didn't understand how to get around the medical system in those days. Now I know, at least use natural thyroid medication, and that's another issue in itself. But if you are recently diagnosed or haven't been diagnosed yet, many of you have thyroid issues and you don't know it. But diet is everything. So I haven't been tested for 3.5 months, which I know that's a long time, but something happened. My husband passed, all these things, and I will talk about that in a minute. I want to address it because it's the elephant in the room. My thyroid at 3.5 months ago, it already had improved by almost half of where it's been for the last 35 years hasn't budged. So yes, I believe it's all about carnivore. And again, it's because of the issues that I talked about in my original comprehensive video. Plants and fruits are antitoxins. Anti-nutrients, they are toxins. They are anti-nutrients, they are toxins. And so when you think you're eating well by eating these really amazing things that you're always told are good for you, they're actually destroying the benefits that you're getting from dairy product or from animal products. Now, and I talk about in that original video, which I will post in the comments before, I told you it was totally comprehensive. It made me understand a question I've had since I was just out of college. Why do ruminant animals have 4 stomach chambers? It doesn't make sense to me. Animals didn't need that. When God created them in the Garden of Eden, the ground itself, all the fauna and flora was full of nutrients, totally nutrient dense for everything that humans and animals needed to eat to maintain a healthy forever body. Yes, the curse came in and so entered death, but I'll tell you what man has done to our environment has destroyed all the good things that God did. But back in the day when he created animals, my question has always been, because I think outside of the box, there's never been a box in my world. Ask my siblings. I've never had a box. Maybe I need a box, but I don't have a box. There's no box. What box? Anyway, so I've always wondered, why did God create animals with 4 chambers? What do they need to purify? God clearly spoke to me when I was doing this research for such a time as this. We need our meat to be purified because what you are is what you eat. And if the animals are eating toxic grains and grasses, then that's going to pass through to you when you eat the animal. However, God gave them 4 chambers, ruminant animals only, gave them 4 chambers so that they could purify it. And that's where, eggs are a very special thing God gave us too. But I say if you're really sick, I would stick with red meat, salt, and water. Why not? I mean, for me, doing all this is worth it. My whole reason for doing it, besides to prove to you that it works, is to reverse my thyroid disease. I don't even take Tylenol. Those of you who know me, I don't even take Tylenol, but also because of my diet, I don't need to. I don't get headaches. I have lots of energy. I don't have joint aches. 38 years in martial arts. I've broken boards, multiple boards with my hand, with my elbows, both elbows. I have very dense, strong elbows. You don't want to get in a fight with me. With my heels, obviously, my legs. But all those years of martial arts doing crazy things. I even hyperextended my knee one time doing major round kicks. I used to be able to kick over my head. I probably couldn't today. That just takes more training. Again, I can do it at my age. I just need to work into it. Before COVID, I was doing 150 men's push-ups a day. And yeah, you guys know I'm elderly. I'm officially elderly. And the thing is, our bodies, when they're nourished properly, can do amazing things. So I'm super excited about getting back into martial arts next year. I mean, in this coming year. But once I'm through all this, it's the biggest hassle to have a spouse die. And I know many of you right on here right now, Barbara Wright, can relate. It's beyond unbelievable what our country puts you through when your spouse dies. In most countries, you get to grieve. In the United States, they're trying to steal everything that your spouse worked for, and they make it as impossible as possible for you so that you cannot grieve, and you are so busy taking care of things before everything's stolen out from under you. So it's unbelievable. Hey, Troy, thank you for joining. Hey, Tony, thank you for joining. Hey, Arthur, thank you for joining. It is so, I love seeing men on here because I'll tell you, it's the macho one, right? Look at these muscles. I don't know if you can see my muscles under my shirt, and I can't take my shirt off because, yeah, no. Anyway, but protein builds muscle, protein builds fat, builds brain. Protein helps your skin. A lot of people have said I look better, and I'm like, no, I definitely look older since my husband passed. That is because I'm not sleeping at all, and I'm going to address that in a second. Anyway, back to Bill did great, but then he was losing too much weight. I did great, but I quit sleeping. So I started researching, and we know the reason Bill started losing too much weight is because he was not eating enough. Again, there's an elephant in the room that I'll address in a minute. As for me, I don't know why I quit sleeping. I do believe it was probably stress. Now, those of you who know me personally, which some of you are on here who actually know me personally face to face, I don't ever get stressed. Even though my husband just passed and I've got bills and I've got banks and investments and things that are saying I don't have access to nothing until I jump through 73 hoops. Even with all that going on, I don't get stressed. Okay, so what I know about the brain and what I know about my background, I did suffer some physical abuse as a young woman and a child. So what I know, even though God has totally set me free and I am no longer a victim of my past, I will tell you one thing I know about myself is I don't allow myself to feel stress. However, I do realize that 3% of our self is actually our conscience, our conscious arena, and 97% of who we are is subconscious. So I'm pretty darn sure, since my love of my life, whom I have been inseparable with for 44 years, having just passed 1 month and 4 days ago, 5 days ago today, I'm sure that I am stressed about that. I'm sure I am, and that's probably why I'm not sleeping. Now, I want to address, because I did have a couple people say, oh my gosh, the reason Bill died is because carnivore diet. And as a researcher, as a scientist, I'm like, oh my God, could it possibly have been? Was it my fault? And I'll tell you, talk about stress, that did cause stress. Well, what I found is not only did it not cause him to pass, but for the 9 months that he was on carnivore before he passed, and this is even according to doctors and according to health specialists whom I do trust, who were not raised by big pharma, they all admitted, including those who pushed the V, knowing it was toxic and not taking it for themselves or their families. Can't get political here. Remember, I'm not a doctor. However, even they admitted, because Bill had 0 sugar, 0 alcohol, 0 carbs, his brain tumors, which he supposedly died from, could not have gotten worse on the carnivore diet. As a matter of fact, they had to have gotten better because, as we all know, cancers and tumors feed on sugar, of which sugar of any sort, guys, even fruit sugar, sorry to tell you, there's a lot of lies out there about that. Alcohol, which is loaded with sugar and other toxins, especially here in the United States, and carbs, all turn to sugar in your system, feeding those cancer cells as fast as they possibly can. Bill had zero. We never cheated. We actually had 2 bites of cheat in our entire thing, and it's not enough to kick you out of ketosis. So we basically had no cheating. So I'm happy to tell you, after my thorough research and talking to many health experts, carnivore did not kill my husband. As a matter of fact, it healed him. And as I say, I was able to spend 5 weeks with him in Nashville before he passed, which God called us to Nashville. If you don't know that story, I've spoken on every social media channel except YouTube, but God did call us to Nashville. I know that his purpose for me is always to share the gospel. That is every one of us, Jesus following people, every one of our purpose in life is to share the good news with those around us who haven't heard the good news. That is our purpose. God corrected me on that when I was saying, I don't know why you brought me here. I don't know why you brought me here, only to take my husband away. God clearly spoke to me and said, you know exactly why I brought you here. My will for you has never changed. You are to preach the gospel to everyone you come into contact with. He puts people in our lives for us to speak truth to. So Bill passed on October 16th. I have remained true to carnivore because I'm doing well. I know God led me to carnivore. I know it. I had no desire. I had a very close friend, Jeff. I hope you're watching. The first one I ever even had heard of carnivore from, and he started sending me some links, and I watched a little bit of a few of them, and I'm like, this is crazy psycho. You know, Jeff's a little extreme in everything he does. He's probably the best swing dancer in the entire world because he gets extreme. He's the best worship leader I have ever led with. I thank God that I got to lead worship with him for years. He is such an amazing musician, self-taught, unbelievable guitarist, unbelievable pianist, unbelievable voice, just unbelievable. And I love Jeff. He married a woman quite younger than he because he's carnivore. So he looks a lot younger. He acts a lot younger. He has the energy of a much younger man. And old women aren't going to be attracted to that. Well, they might be, but they wouldn't be able to keep up with him. So he ended up marrying a much younger, beautiful woman who she still probably can't keep up with him. Anyway, I kind of wrote it off as another crazy Jeff thing. He was the first. And then it was a couple of years later where I started seeing one follower here, one follower there. Hey, have you heard about the carnivore? Have you? And I thought it was crazy, which is why I set out to prove how crazy it was. Anyway, that said, I'm probably taking too long now, right? Yeah, I've got to end this. So now it's been a year. I have been totally strict. My thyroid has improved, and I will tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if I need to find a doctor in Nashville, but he's got to be natural. He's got to believe in carnivore. He's got to be open to, or he's got to at least be open to why it works. I've always had to educate my doctors, which is very depressing and very time consuming. One of the reasons I've done so much research, I know so much. I know more about thyroid than any doctor I've ever had. And I don't say that pridefully. I say that shame on you, medical industry. So many people have thyroid. So many people have undiagnosed thyroid disease because of the fluoride in our water, because of the fluoride in our showers that's going through our largest organ, our skin, because of the fluoride that the dentist gives you. Fluoride, chlorine, toxic to the thyroid. Because of the iodine missing in our soil, missing in our foods. Fluoride takes the place of the iodine receptors so that your thyroid dies off and you need medication. No, you don't. You need iodine. You need to get rid of the fluoride and the chloride, and you need to replace it with iodine that your body is thriving for. And if people tell you you don't need iodine, I don't know about other countries, guys, and I know some of you are here, but I will tell you, if you are in the United States or any westernized country, you need iodine. You should be taking Lugol's every day. And if those people who tell you it's toxic, let them explain why. If you have Hashimoto's, yes, you should be taking iodine. Please check with Dr. Elizabeth Bright. She is an expert on thyroid. She is an expert on iodine. She is in Italy. Go see her if you can afford it. Maybe she does teleconferencing, but if you have Hashimoto's and your doctor told you don't take iodine, then figure this little $10 bottle probably costs a whole lot less than his multi-hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars of health shattering pharma. So find another doctor, contact Elizabeth Bright on you, probably through YouTube. I don't know. I think she's on Telegram. But please don't just listen to your big pharma trained doctor who says don't take iodine. Yeah, we need it. We used to get it in our diet. Our B vitamins completely gone from our bread. We used to get it from bread. If you're in Italy, you're still getting it from your bread, and maybe other countries. But in the US, you're not getting your B vitamins from bread because there's so much toxic stuff in it. It's all GMO. So anyway, bottom line is it worth it? Carnivore diet? Absolutely 100% yes. Did you hear me? Absolutely 100% yes. What I suggest is commit to 1 month. Weigh yourself at the beginning of the month. Don't weigh yourself again until the end of the month. I've done this when I did personal training. I always say, don't get with the ups and downs of your weight. Weigh yourself once a month, once a week max. But just notice how you feel, how your clothes fit, how your middle disappears, how your cheeks thin out. Just pay attention to your eyesight, to your energy, to your hair and your nails, to your skin. Do you know that vegans have the worst skin of any? If you have acne or psoriasis or what's the other one? Eczema, cut out plant-based foods, go carnivore, and let me know in 1 month the difference. Your children, your parents, your nieces and nephews, your aunts and uncles, please, if they have any kind of skin condition, joint condition, and again, go strict carnivore, no dairy for the first month, then assess it. What happened to Bill and me is after a month, we said, let's go 3 months. After 3 months, we said, okay, we're committing to 6 months. After 6 months, we said, okay, we're committing to a year. Now that my year is almost up, my year will be up in January. I'm not sure the exact date, but I'll probably continue it. At least I'll go very low carb, maybe add in some blueberries, raspberries, maybe avocado, but you need to know about the reason our fruits are toxic is because God puts a thing called lectins in them. Lectins are what keep the bugs away from eating them until they're completely ripe. Once they're completely ripe, the lectins dissipate. So when you eat the ripe fruit off the plant or the tree, it's full of vitamins and minerals. If the soil had vitamins and minerals, which our soil doesn't. But hey, your own farm in Italy, yeah. The problem is grocery stores, even the Whole Food stores, let's not point out Whole Foods, the name, but Whole Foods, they pretend like they're healthy for you. They pick their fruit green. It's loaded with lectins, which are so damaging to your body, including your thyroid. And then they gas them so that they look ripe and beautiful, but you notice they have no flavor normally, at least very little flavor. Why? Because they won't look good. If they pick them ripe, first of all, it's not financially viable. They travel way better when they pick them solid green. Avocados, they're great for you ripe off the tree, but pick them green, they're loaded with lectins. So you need to watch your lectins. Your body can get rid of some, but not when you're eating all these beans and avocados and nuts, all these things with lectins, then you're overtaxing your body and it can't heal because it's busy trying to do the work. Get it? So I want to answer a couple of your questions right now. I am going to go ahead and see if I can make this bigger and move it over. It's not. Why not? There we go. Okay. So hard when your husband isn't on board. Okay. Right? Husband or wife. I see Tony here saying the same thing. Arthur saying the same thing. Yeah. If your family isn't on board, this is what I say. Do it anyway. And let them see the changes in you. So I say the same thing. If your spouse isn't on the Christian board where, hey, we're going to read the word every day. We are going to pray every day. We're going to do Bible studies. We're going to seek the Lord personally, privately, have quiet time every day. If your spouse isn't on board, I will tell you the most effective thing is you do it anyway. And the changes in you, that spouse will be envious. And I will tell you this, I've been ministering this since it worked with my own husband decades ago. I have been sharing with especially those with non-Christian, well, I shouldn't say especially, because I say you need to pray for your non-Christian spouse. But if they're willing to live with you, be that example, change your life spiritually. Those of us who carry the spirit of the living God inside of us, we have a favor factor that people don't understand. They can't explain, and they want. So yeah, that it's the same with carnivore diet. Just do it. And even if you add in a little bit of carbs, keep it very low. And the problem is there's not a number. Some people are out of ketosis with 3 bites of something. Other people can stay in ketosis with 40 grams of carbs. So I know people, myself included, if I have 10 grams of carbs, I'm out of ketosis. You have to start all over. So you really can't cheat on carnivore because, or at least if you do, you need to keep it very, very low. Because you don't want to undo all that stuff that you did. We can do it, Debbie. Yes, Debbie's done it before, right? Yes, you did. Becky, my husband doesn't do it, just me, and that's hard. But I'm still on carnivore, just maybe 80% carnivore. Wow, that is so awesome, Debbie. I didn't realize that you were doing 80% still, because I know it's hard when your spouse doesn't. I just committed to it, and then Bill's the one who dragged me into it. Oh, no. And then he started cooking for me. Absolutely, I agree. Way easier for me than having to eat vegetables and some fruit with my protein. It's also easier to shop, right? People are like, isn't it expensive? No. You can buy eggs, first of all, are the most protein-packed, amazing, nutritious fully nutritious thing you can buy, and it's one of the cheapest things you can buy. I buy 5 dozen at a time at Costco, cook them in major butter. I add a little cheese. If fried eggs, I just like them with butter, but scrambled eggs I like with cheese. I can tolerate dairy no problem. It obviously doesn't cause inflammation in me because I actually probably have quite a bit of dairy, but I do still strongly advise you do 0 dairy for the first month and then add in maybe some yogurt, but full fat. If you have any dairy, make sure it's full fat. Non-fat, low fat, bad, bad, bad for you. Pasteurized is not great for you. If you can get raw, awesome. Okay. Debbie said you don't sleep well lately. Okay. You know, Debbie, you and I both are very spiritually in tune with what's going on spiritually. I have a feeling that it's not related to our diet or stress. I think we just feel the stuff that's going on in the air. There is a spiritual warfare. Okay, so I want every one of you to tell me if you can feel spiritual warfare over the last month or so. If you can feel a spiritual war going on, would you let me know in the comments? Just say spiritual warfare. I want to see how many of you, because I can feel it big time. I've been this way since I was a child. Before I realized there even was a spirit realm, when I was around evil, it just made me feel sick to my stomach. I can't even really explain it. I didn't know what it was until I was 21 years old and I read the book, This Present Darkness. It changed my life because it made me realize I wasn't crazy. I never talked about spiritual thing. Well, the fear I had as a child, because I thought people would think I was crazy. But once I read that book, This Present Darkness, changed my life. Okay. Debbie says, I'm going to restart in January. I'm doing carnivore 80% now. Who would like to do another 30-day challenge in January? Who would like me to offer another Facebook 30-day challenge in January? If I get enough people interested, I will do it. Hey, Becky, great to see you. I love it. Okay, that's why you said my husband, even though it's Tony with a Y. I love it. Great. Nice to see you, Becky. Thanks for being here. Yes, spiritual warfare, 100%. Jacqueline, yes. Okay, keep going. Keep telling me. And yes, 30-day challenge. Awesome. Anybody else interested in the 30-day challenge? I'm not going to do it for 2 people. Let me know if you are up for it. Yes, spiritual warfare. Kim, Barbara, yes to January. Awesome. I love it. All the yeses. Okay. Yes, we're going to do it again in January then. And because I will be gone the first few days, and actually, I may be going to San Diego for my dad's 95th birthday. But I'd probably be staying with my brother or at least a family member. So I can do it from there anyway. So yeah, let's do it in January. I think that's a great idea. And we'll get some more people involved. But guys, we will be doing it on Facebook. So be sure to keep watch there. All right. So I do believe that spiritual warfare is so strong right now that people are kind of unsettled. Have you noticed, those of you who say you can feel spiritual warfare, have you noticed that you especially have a hard time sleeping between like 2:30 and 4:30 in the morning, that's your worst time? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to be watching. Now, if any of you have any questions about carnivore, would you please ask me? I want to answer your questions. And what I found is no question is dumb about any subject. If you have a question and you're willing to ask, I guarantee there are others who have the same question. So help me out here and please let me know. Yes, awesome, Debbie. Same with me. Like between 2:30, a lot of times I'll wake up at 2:45 and I literally don't go back to sleep. I get up at 4:30 because I'm just like, well, I can't lay here any longer. I'm so bored. I'm going to go read the word. And yes to January. Yes, yes. Very unsettled, hard time, Jacqueline. Yeah, I need to meet you, Jacqueline. I don't recognize your name from Facebook. Are you on Facebook with me? I know there are some. Yeah, same time. Yeah, 2:30 to 4. That's me too. Yeah, it's an unsettling. I think God has us awake as watchmen on the wall to pray for our country, to pray for our family members, our friends, the people we have connection with. Okay, I'm going to give you another 5 minutes to ask questions. I'm not seeing questions, and I know I had so many questions. I was contacting people all the time. Carolina girl wake up at 3:30. Yeah. I'm always awake at 3:30 and I'm like, I don't want to wake up now. Lord, please help me sleep. That's what I do. I pray. Same with Kim. Yeah, look at you all. Look at all of us. And I think God's protecting us with carnivore. You know, there's no coincidence that so many of us are on right now. I've had a couple people whom I've gone to lunch with say, I thought you were nuts that you were carnivore when we were on lunch. And then God brought it up to me in other ways. And now I'm carnivore. I've had people, probably 4 people in the last month who have told me that. They thought I was crazy and now they're carnivore and they're loving it. We're Facebook friends. Okay. I kind of recognize your name, but do you normally engage? This is just awesome. I didn't realize we have so much in common. Who else? Anybody have a question about carnivore? And then I am going to, if any of you are in the Nashville area, I will tell you, I have promoted my friend Stephen Cade, well, since way back in the California days. Anyway, he is going to be downtown Nashville tonight. So if any of you would like to come and join me, please message me and let me know and put Cade, Cade in all caps in Facebook messages. And I will be looking because I would love for you to join me tonight to meet Stephen, be able to shake his hand, give him a hug, and probably Kelly, I'm guessing, is going to be there, his beautiful wife. And I would like to go listen to him tonight downtown Nashville. So please let me know. I need to eat more butter. Yeah, more butter, more bacon, more fat. Yes. Carnivore snacks, beef jerky, just make sure it's not loaded with sugar, or there are some beef jerkies and beef sticks that don't have toxins and sugar in them. But what I will tell you honestly is and those of you who are carnivore, let me know if you agree with me. You don't ever want snacks. When you are satisfied with the nutrition of what you're eating, you never want snacks. Actually, you might have to go, shoot, I really should eat something else. You literally eat when you're hungry and you're not going to want snacks. You can have one thing that I did originally, just because I felt like I wanted to add more food to my diet, because if you don't get enough food, your whole metabolism will slow down and you could actually gain weight or at least stall losing weight. But I knew I wasn't eating enough. So I started having like just salami wrapped around a little thing of like a piece of brie cheese, or the hard European cheeses are the best for you. You can find them that aren't pasteurized. You can find them at Costco. So many good cheeses. So if you don't have a problem with dairy, have salami and cheese for a little snack. Have a beef stick. Have something like that. Great question. And I will tell you, you're not going to want snacks once you're fully carnivore. Oh, Debbie, you can't tonight. Bummer. I wish you could. Okay, Diane. Thank you for joining in, Diane. You found out you don't sleep as much on carnivore. You know, I've never slept much, so maybe it's just I do feel wide awake once I wake up at 2:45, 3 in the morning. Maybe I just need, and I go to sleep. Well, I go to bed at 10. I'm usually asleep by 11, but maybe I just don't need any more sleep than that. But what's interesting, yeah, Diane says my skin breaks out if I do eat vegetables. Absolutely, because it's all these anti nutrients and toxins in the ground, in the air, sucking up into the water of the vegetables and the fruits. Do you know that almost every skin condition is from fruits and vegetables? Vegans have terrible skin, they have terrible mental health. They get early Alzheimer's very frequently. Bacon and sour cream. Ooh. Debbie, I'm going to try that because I do eat dairy now. I don't eat a lot of things like sour cream, but I always have it in there because I really like it on, I'll do ground beef with a little salt, a little shredded cheese from Costco. It's not the best cheese for you. It's pasteurized, but you know, the Mexican cheese in the bag. I'll put that. And then I like a dollop of sour cream. It's kind of like having a Taco Bell burrito, but with healthy food. And so I do have sour cream. I'm going to try that, putting some salt in my sour cream and then using bacon as chips. That sounds great, actually. Wish I were in the area. I've learned so much from you. Thank you, Becky. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I can't see the bottom of it. People come on. I want to keep hearing your questions. So yeah, I wish you were in the area. Where are you, Becky, by the way? Where are you? For some reason, I think you're in the Midwest. Jacqueline's in Chicago. We also like some of the same fragrances. Oh, Jacqueline, I have 3 brand new fragrances. No, I did not pay the high prices. They were gifts for Christmas, so I have not unboxed them yet. And they are fragrances that I've been wanting to try. So I'm going to be doing a blind fragrance review with all 3 of them. So I would love you to join me. That will be on YouTube. Anyone who's interested in fragrances. Then I'm going to do, once I unbox these 3 and let you know my pros and cons, if I like them, if I don't, what they're good for, then I am going to do a fragrance review on the ones that made the cut from San Diego to Nashville. As you know, I got rid of so much stuff leaving San Diego. It was still $20,000 to move here, literally just for the moving van to move here, $20,000. So we had to cut back on a lot of stuff. So I got rid of every fragrance that I'm not mad crazy about. So I'm going to do a review, if you guys are interested, of the fragrances that I kept that made the trip to Nashville, because I cannot imagine my life without them. If you guys want me to do that, let me know in the comments. Jacqueline says, yes, fragrance review. Wait, I think that was, yes. It's been a long time. Yes, I actually only did a fragrance review on YouTube to start a new YouTube channel. I was going to use it because Facebook kept banning me. But then I realized YouTube's the one who banned me for life, even my business videos, because of something I said about CDC. So YouTube's not the one to do political stuff on. But I am going to do that. I'm going to do a review of my new hair products, which I absolutely am adoring. And I think you guys will too. As south as you can go in corrupt Illinois. Yes, I remembered you were in Illinois. Okay, great. I know, and it's so sad because Illinois is just so gorgeous in so many ways. It's like all these poor blue states that the cabal's taken over, but I think we're going to get them back under President Trump. I've really got to let you guys go. If you don't have any more questions about, I love it. Oh, thank you, John. If you don't have any more questions about carnivore, then I'm going to let you guys go. Yum. I now cook a pound of bacon in bite-sized pieces in a Dutch oven on the stove and eat it like popcorn. I actually used to do that. And now that Bill's gone, I don't eat it fast enough. So thanks for reminding me, Jacqueline. I think I will do that again. And just, I don't like to refrigerate it. It feels like it loses a little of the flavor, but you can leave it on the counter in a plastic baggie for quite a few days. So maybe I will do that again. Thank you, Kim. Becky, yeah, all of you that I wish you could go with me. I found I don't sleep as much on carnivore. Yeah, me too. Well, I don't know. I do feel fully rested after 4 hours. I will say that. I started carnivore last year when you announced you were doing it. Lost 35 pounds off my diabetes meds and high blood pressure meds. Yes, taking zinc because I was. Okay, someone comments, so hers will slide up. I can't slide them up. I can't read the bottom. I can only slide down. So someone needs to, okay, because I was losing hair. Oh my gosh. Also, Diane, please check into iodine. If you're losing hair, check into iodine. Check into thyroid. Check out Dr. Elizabeth Bright. I did not know you could leave. I can't read the bottom unless you all comment. So just say hello in the comments, guys, so I can read the rest of these because they're not, I don't know why it doesn't show me the bottom. It stops in the middle of a sentence, and I want to read Carolina Girls. Not know you could leave cooked bacon out. Yes. Yes. Once it's cooked. So there's actually a lie about refrigeration too, but I'm not going to get into that here. But yes, leave it out in a plastic baggie just so it doesn't pick up flavors from the air. I do use, guys. So I'm going to tell you about my perfumes that made the cut, but I will tell you my movers lost some things. And one of the boxes they lost were every one of my high-end candles, and a few of my favorite perfumes were in there too. And that box is gone. I never should have put candles on the outside of the box. I should have just said cleaning supplies or something. So perfect, Jacqueline. Yeah, you leave it out in a Ziploc bag. Me too, for days. Well, when Bill was around, we'd eat a pound of bacon in 2 days, literally. But then mine was like 6 days, and that's just too long. So I don't do that much at once. I just do some with my eggs. But also, I don't really have an appetite for snacks anymore. So that's probably why too. What time tonight? And I will see if I can reschedule things. I believe it's 7:30 at the Hyatt downtown. Please check with Stephen Cade on Facebook. I texted him, but I haven't heard back. I forgot to check into it. And I just thought of it since I'm not doing anything else tonight. And then tomorrow I'm going to church. And then I'm going to Kentucky on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it's not raining. I would love that. Oops, what's happening here? Hi, Barbara. Thank you for doing that because it helped me to be able to see the bottom of Jacqueline's. Okay, I can kind of see someone else's, but I can only see half of it. So please keep commenting. And I am going in 1 minute. An hour and a half is too long, right, guys? Thanks for the hearts. Please give me hearts. It helps the algorithms. And if you subscribe, if you haven't, it really helps the algorithms because I really want them to show this carnivore stuff to other people. Yes, my book is done, guys. So I'm having a problem getting my book onto Amazon. Um, it's an issue with Word, and I just have been so busy with all the stuff taking care of being a new widow that I haven't had time. But the book is completely done, and I really want to get it out. I was 100% sure I'd have it out before Christmas, and now I still don't have it out, but it is very comprehensive. I think you will love it. It's a great gift for people. Maybe give people an IOU on Michelle's Carnivore book for Christmas, and then when I get it out, you can give it to them. All right, guys. Well, God bless you. Lord, I just speak life and blessing and health on every person watching. Bless them. Hey, Anita. Bless every one of them. And I pray that you would give them wisdom, knowledge, and perfect health in every area of their lives, their relationships, their physical health, and especially their relationship with you, Lord, their spiritual health. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. God bless you. Thank you. Please share this. Share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Telegram. Share it on your X. Share it on your Truth Social. I love you guys. Thank you. And I'll see you again soon with the perfume review. Okay, guys. Love you. Bye.